Should we eat these sun chips or are they like just here?
No,
for,
you
okay.
You can totally eat them. Someone brought snacks from 721. We don't know who. They've been there all week. I didn't go to all staff. What do you guys do? Secret Santa? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. You guys gave him a card, right? Yeah. Sorry. Congrats on your merit. Yeah. First strategic reading. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, you want to put it where you sit? Yeah. Alright.
That's the yard we're doing. It's brand new. It's like 2 or 3 years old. It's sucking all the kids out until one.
So when you hear
You have to go there. But it's not like
is it all together now or like
anything. I don't get it. Brand new one.
you know, if I was supposed to like permission slips, and then last night just mixed that all up and everything was give it to this way. But then you still individually are individual or responsible for your children and this is supposed to wow. So I was just like, okay. I was about to just give up 4 days when I showed up the whole time, but God just made us micromanage children and stuff. All of us. So is it gonna work out? We're still gonna stop our kids now. They're probably gonna be in this yeah.
I'm not kidding. They will be.
They're in the career fair. You'll find them there. He's not going to be with us. Pendleton won't be with us. I think we need missing Schrader. Were you going to be Diesel and Gautier? Okay. Oh, okay. And Rummel. Oh, Rummel's going to be here. I think she's well, then what I'll do
I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, no, you have to get it. I'll go with you to pick it out. Because I just want to see your face and show it up.
Okay.
Yes, you will. But there's a spot. Where is she? Yeah, I like because I like that. I like that stuff too.
Alright, so we're going to get started. I know Ramos, I think, is going home early, and then Pendleton has to do some additional stuff with their bio team. So, and those who aren't here, I guess they'll trickle in if they're not already in another meeting. So when we're done with our meeting today, though, you guys will be able to go to whatever collaborative meetings you are missing right now. Or do whatever prep work you feel that you need to do with the rest of the time. All right? So what we're going to do today is we are going to follow up to the last time we met, which was small group instruction, just talking about what we're doing with small group instruction in our class. And Ms. Rodriguez, can you read our first objective?
Sorry, I was eating.
That's right.
Teachers will be able to describe these strategies that they use for small group instruction in the 6th period class.
Awesome, thank you. Ms. Anderson, can you read the second objective, please?
Teachers will be able to adapt and critique the small group instruction strategies used by their collaborators.
Awesome, and you guys know what I mean when I say they're collaborative? Within the 6th period, what would your collaborative be?
Reading.
Right, exactly, reading or math, reading, so whatever your subject is, awesome. So our norms, be on time, which in general we were, be respectful, which we always are, be prepared, be low tech, you don't need your laptops yet, so don't have to worry about that. And our our agenda today, we just did the objectives and norms. We'll jump into positive fives. Then Ms. Anderson volunteered, with my asking of course, to show us her small group instruction, and then we'll do some troubleshooting around small group instruction, and then we'll wrap it up by 2:35, so we're on time. Right, so I know that it's a week since Thanksgiving, but it's always good to just jog your memory about fun family times. So why don't we go around the room and just tell us what's your favorite Thanksgiving memory and what was your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Who wants to start off? Go ahead.
Well, mine was not necessarily that happened this Thanksgiving, but my sister wasn't there. But every year since she was little, she always either drops a drink or a whole pie on the floor somehow. With her, like it's tradition that she drops a pie. Don't know how. And my favorite dish is sweet potatoes.
Awesome. Mine too. Why don't you popcorn and pick someone?
Well, Thanksgiving is usually not a good time, but this Thanksgiving, I came home really, really late at night from driving in Michigan, and my mom came up to me with cookies, muffins, and cakes. I'm like, what is this? She always told me to lose weight. Like, why are you giving me this stuff? It turns out she hit menopause, and she really feels like baking now. So she just baked all these fresh goods for me.
Sounds good. Sounds really good.
Yeah, it was good.
And what was your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Actually, us Chinese people don't really cook Thanksgiving food, so what we try just kind of comes out nice.
All right. Well, pick someone.
Birthday.
Oh, okay. This year, I guess, just, I got to hang out with my daughter, so she was in town from Wednesday to Sunday, she was in town. So, just hanging out with her, she stayed at my house. We had fun, did a few things. And my favorite Thanksgiving dish is collard greens.
Nice. All right.
Mr. Holt?
Alright, I got a good one. It was Thanksgiving, we did like a 5K, and my little cousin, she got into, I don't know, she started running like 6 months ago, and she has this friend who I don't like. This friend like really wanted to beat her and was like really competitive, and I was like, Becca, you're gonna beat her. Okay. Like, I finished, and then I walked back, and I see her friend pass, I'm like, darn it, I don't see Becca. And she was like, she was quite a bit behind her. But I'm like, Becca, follow me. Like, I had already finished the race, and I gave her like a shortcut, and then she ended up beating her. The girl that I don't like was like, couldn't even talk to her.
Wow.
I had no idea what was happening.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Green bean casserole.
Nice.
If I-
Yeah.
I think my favorite memory from this year's Thanksgiving was just my sister coming to hang out with us. Me and her didn't talk for a few months. Do you want?
No, I'm choking.
You're ruining a story.
I'm trying to hold it. You hear me trying to hold the coffee out of respect. I'm done now.
Alright.
Oh yeah, so my sister, she came over after like a few months that me and her weren't talking, so that was a good memory to have. And then same thing for us, like we don't really like celebrate. We do celebrate Thanksgiving, but when we cook like Mexican dishes, like tamales or stuff. But this year we actually had turkey, so I'm gonna say that was my favorite dish.
Oh, nice. Nice. And for me, this year, I think most of you guys know I have a 7-month-old daughter, so I'm trying to teach her how to crawl, and so like Thanksgiving was memorable for us because we had like a whole bunch of family members around trying to help her crawl all at the same time. Like we're all cheering her on, so that was awesome to see.
She's gonna be nicer when she walks.
Yeah, like our heads might explode when she starts walking. And then For us, we didn't have a traditional Thanksgiving. My family's Jamaican, so we had Jamaican food. My favorite was jerk pork, so that was my thing. But yeah, Thanksgiving was awesome. I'm glad that we all had like a good Thanksgiving. That sounds great. And so, thinking along the lines of being thankful, I want to be thankful to Miss Anderson for allowing me to take her class, just being vulnerable and just saying, yeah, sure, go for it. Thank you for that. So you guys are going to see some clips from Miss Anderson's class. All we're looking at are just, positive things. So on the back of your agenda, you'll see it says small group instruction strategies. So any reflections, anything that comes to mind as you're watching it, feel free to write it down. So again, use the reflection page to write down any takeaways you have from this clip, and write any positive feedback you'd like to give Ms. Anderson, boost her up for helping us out and sharing her class.
The back of mine is blank.
Oh, sure, here. You know what, then you have, here, this one, that's your other side. Sorry about that. Alright, so let's take a look at Ms. Anderson's class, and hopefully you guys can hear everything. Kids are a little low.
John.
Hold on.
Okay, step out.
Close up. Is that Charlie P?
What's my name? Good cat.
Oops, sorry. Okay.
We'll come back. Kevin, based on what Jack wrote, what's something you can tell us about her? What do you think? What does her list tell you about her? Like soccer? What gave you that? What drove you to that conclusion? What did you tell you about yourself? How did you come to that conclusion? Jackie, you want to answer this question based on the article, which says, the results of the study mentioned at the beginning of the article might be wrong with things that include our unhealthy places for others. Is this a valid answer? Why or why not? Use evidence from the article to support your answer. So based on what we learned, what the answer is based on, and how we take the answer. We don't know if the answer they're making now is a valid one. Do we use those to say why or why not, if the results of the study mentioned at the beginning of the article might be wrong with things that include our unhealthy places for others. We'll take a minute to write your answer to that. Again, we'll do a second and third answer.
So here I was just trying to show you guys what the rest of the classroom looks like while she's working with that group. Miss Anderson. Thank you again for sharing your class with us. Before we move to talking about reflections, Miss Anderson, can you just give us like a quick synopsis of what was happening in the video?
In the video, I was going over a strategy that I found out achieved for helping the kids with inference, because I was told mostly that a lot of them all missed the inference questions, whether it be on Relive or on Achieve. So I was using Achieve print off an example of how to teach inference with them.
Excellent, thank you. And so, what did you notice was different in the small group instruction for sixth period that you just saw in the video clip versus small group instruction that happens during the regular school day? Like, how are they different?
On the school day, usually, there's a lead teacher and like a para or another teacher. And this time, she was the lead teacher, but she's still able to have the other kids on one side of the classroom engaged in doing what they're supposed to be doing here while she pulled the small group over to the corner. And then even then, when she gave them a task to do, like just independent work, she still was able to go back to the kids who were on the computers and check on them and such.
Excellent, yeah, that's exactly it. Great, so you see that again, small group instruction comes in many different formats. Within sixth period, you may end up, you don't have another teacher there. So while kids are working on the computers, you're working intently with those, that small group that you have. The small group instruction in sixth period is not, we'll have the whole class doing work off the computer. Small group instruction in sixth period is you have literally a smaller group working on one task while the rest is still doing online learning. Does that make sense? Because we don't want it to be where the whole class is not doing online learning. There needs to be a group that is. And just remember to divide up the groups based on the data that you have from your interim analysis. All right, does anyone want to share any positive reflections to Ms. Anderson? Who wants to go first?
I noticed just when the student was asking the question, she directed him right back to what he was looking at, and so rather than just like, this is the answer, it was like, let's look here, like, you can find the answer. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, awesome. Anyone else?
Plus, she had a good tone, and a lot of that question asked was good. She had said that's the case when he was on, like Ms. Lee said earlier, I wrote it down, she stole my thunder. She said when the small group started writing, she didn't turn her attention to the other students and was able to check and make sure they were doing what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I thought you did a really good job in just being aware of what's happening in the classroom. The kids, and it seemed like, the kids bought into it because they just did exactly as you told them to do. You didn't have any major issues. I know, like, one of the girls you guys weren't able to see, I think it's Jackie, who, like, tried not to answer any questions, and I'm thinking it's because the camera was, like, literally right next to her. But, like, you still even came back to her, and you still pushed the kids, so you did a really good job. All right?
You exhibited two teaching strategies that's been drilled into us a long time ago. One's called stretching. So when the kid couldn't answer or wasn't willing to, you said, or when they said something that was really short, you stretched them to make them elaborate, and then you said how you know that. And they were still struggling, and then you still pushed them and said, think about that, and I'll come back to it. I don't know if you actually did come back to it later because the video was shut off. But yeah, like those are two very good strategies that a lot of new teachers do to make sure the kids are held accountable to like thinking.
Yeah, that's good. All right, awesome. So now we're gonna jump into something called helping trios, and this protocol is also on the front of your agenda. So you're gonna have an opportunity to share your small group instruction with your collaborative. You can share good things, or you can share things that you need help with. So if you want to get feedback from the team, this would be a great forum for that. And so the way how Helping Trios happens, and we do it, well, I work with the DOIs, and we do Helping Trios just about every Thursday. So for the first minute, you get to just explain, this is my experience, I need help in X, Y, Z. Everyone else just listens. And then the second minute, you guys get to ask questions. So you ask the person who's presenting questions, like clarifying questions. So things that you want them to explain a little bit more so you can get a good background about the class. And then after that, you get 3 minutes where the team, like those who are listening, they can then talk about like, okay, this is her situation, this is how we're gonna help this teacher, or this is what this teacher should do to make their lesson better. So you offer up solutions in that 3 minutes. And then the last minute, the original teacher, the presenting teacher, they get to say, okay, thank you guys, this is, you know, these are gonna be my action steps, this is what I'm gonna do with my class next time around. All right, so I'm gonna guide you guys through the first one, and then the others you will be able to do on your own, okay? How many of you guys are just reading? 3, 4, and you're just math, and you're... Why don't we divide into 2 groups of 4, so it won't be trios, it'll be quadruplets, and that's okay. So math and reading with just math, and then we have just reading. All right? All right, cool. So you guys can get into your collaboratives now, and then I'll guide you through the process.
Where is just you know just
So not everyone will be able to go, so just think about like if you want to troubleshoot with the group, we could start there, and then when we should have enough time to do at least 2 or 3 rounds of this, okay? All right, so for the first minute, one person gets to just talk about whatever issues they're having with small group instruction that they want help with. So in your group right now, just pick one person who's going to share with your little
small group instruction.
All right, so you guys each have someone who's gonna talk?
Yeah.
All right, so the timer's up, and I'm gonna start it now for 1 minute. Share with the team, like what exactly is the issue you're having. You ready? All right. All right, go ahead.
Sometimes when I go to a small group, I have to get them on something like we do the quick sentence and I'll walk around.
If you want to do more than one.
Okay. So yeah, that's my biggest
And it's usually the same 2 people.
I know you mentioned print some of your articles.
And then the same 2 people who trip off, but they're the same ones like, oh, we get started. You're never gonna get out here because you don't do what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? And it's the shame about it is those 2 gentlemen, I find my best readers. And they're my highest scorers, highest readers. But it's like, they play the
10 seconds.
Yeah, like not just the.
because you can't do what you're supposed to do. But that would be my issue.
Now we're gonna ask you for All right, so thank you. So that was the first part of it. Now the rest of the team can ask you guys, can ask the speaker clarifying questions. All right, so you have 1 minute to ask them clarifying questions.
What have you tried to motivate?
I mean,
Well,
I did the gift card.
I guess I should say, not to come up from the very beginning of the class, I had set expectations, you know, level 0, work, stay focused, do instruction.
I've also tried just talking to them like about my story, how I ended up here, and how I know that.
Now, as far as the expectations I set for the small group instruction, I don't know that I said, you know, I just assumed that they would go from all the expectations.
Oh, they love that.
Relay more to people who aren't in the small group at the time, what I expect them to do. I just assumed that they would know that nothing has changed, because I'm working with history doesn't mean you don't have to stay focused.
Relationships with your
I haven't done that.
Maybe that was my mistake in assuming that they knew that,
With my
so that's something I would
they
stress
are
them.
changing, like they're starting
More
to
firm
like
on that.
show their attitudes more, like,
5 seconds.
I know, they know who I am now, I know, like, we're getting to that level, but it's just a motivation.
Yeah. Yes. I don't give them every day,
So
but
I
I do
guess-
give them institutions the same thing.
Like, their answer is my parents, and it's just,
So,
oh, let's talk about that.
Or consistent meaning, hey, you're on task as one, hey, you're on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, yeah, most
Now
of
it's troubleshooting time.
my demerits are for either being off task or talking after I've won and
Put an article, I think that might help, 'cause like,
That's one of the
I
issues,
did a,
is
I
when I'm, because in
had
small
each
group is, I
of
have
my
problems.
teachers
That's
to
what
write
my
down
dog
where I
like
put
to
things
have.
that were interested in reading about, and then trying to.
So for these 3 minutes now, the team gets to give you solutions. But if you guys feel like you need to ask more questions, like, or you feel like you need to explain more, that's fine. You have 3 minutes to brainstorm a solution.
And I make my own quizzes.
Okay. Like vocab, like, is it just vocab, or is it like?
All of my quizzes are ACT and intertwined. So I analyze, like I printed off the answers to ACTs and see how they word the questions and stuff, and then I test them on the Q buckets that they are not doing well in
And
their
then
brains.
setting expectations and being
Yeah,
consistent,
more
like,
data.
you're on YouTube, that's for, hey, you're off task and you're doing, so the kids can get into the routine, like, hey, I know I'm going to make consequences, you know, I'm sometimes going to make consequences, depending on how the student, the teacher feels that day. So I would just say, clear expectation and hold them to it. And then let them say, hey, we're in here for a reason, this is not for any, it's fun.
Yeah, like my kids love reading diversion,
Try
they
that,
love it.
think
Yeah,
you
you mentioned that.
can stick through that, you can do it.
That you read with.
Yeah.
Oh, but those are the only ones that.
Kind of along with that, setting an expectation, possibly like, it's okay, this is.
Like me feeling me, just do it like that, even though they're not known.
Okay,
I
I
like
like
to
I'll learn to do 1 day reading,
like,
kind of like this is reading.
my back, my if I.
And then that way you can interact with them, joke with them, get to know the
You know, just saying like,
personalities.
this
I
might
like
be different.
At first I wasn't sure about like, hey,
That
like
doesn't
this
mean
reading, maybe, maybe music might distract. And I actually was like, hey, if you want me to do this, I need music, so I started playing
So
music.
I take my attention on.
Oh, I play
Yeah.
trap music.
Yeah.
Not all people can focus to that. Some people can't. So my kids.
I asked them like who's their favorite artist, and I like play that person, yeah.
You know, like, no, I'm not walking around and looking at your screens right now, but that doesn't mean.
Like blasting out the hallways, what?
And it's hard to do with freshmen.
But I do it already. I had one kid that was first, week she got off back to something.
Like I know you have some like on the line, right? Like when I go to sit with them, I don't like jump to it. Like I go like, oh, I don't see you smiling, you know, that type of thing. And then go into it.
Yeah, that's, instead of just, that's another.
Cause you being off,
like,
but,
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't.
I
Like,
look,
checking in.
yeah,
That's
we're
like
really salty right now.
Like,
This is story time.
not supposed to be doing.
that's turning into
And
a
I
label,
think
but you
I
still
don't-
working for it.
Right.
You're going to intentionally distracting yourself.
Do you guys want me to add another minute, or you think you're good?
Okay.
All right, so for the last minute, whoever was the speaker, they can say now, okay, my next steps are this. Like, this is what I'm gonna do next.
Yeah, I did.
You guys already did it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a list.
You guys already did it?
Yeah, we already did it.
All right, cool. So can you guys pick another person who's now gonna be the speaker?
How much do you
Pick one.
Oh, whoever wants to go.
Or,
I can do it. I definitely have questions.
Okay, all right, I'm starting the time now.
Yeah, and,
Oh, you did what?
yeah,
Oh, so you gonna do it after school?
correct.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
so
it
do you
seemed
get
like,
the merit?
I think the key is, like, at first, when they felt like, oh,
out, it seemed like I would meet the expectations over and over. We got in the groove of things, and then they changed the lunch, and they're like, oh,
But you know
we do study hall now, and they just kind of, I wasn't too positive of what it was turning into. I think,
So that you know when you're tired, ask them. It's not about that.
Yeah,
No,
No,
we
we
need
need 4Ds right away.
I don't do that. Oh,
And, I mean,
And I
No,
told
they
them, or,
should be,
I'm not going to do more.
you better do how much you get for
Do you guys need more time?
Yeah.
So that's my issue.
Um,
They wanna come in, like, you have 15 minutes once you get out of bed.
time-wise, because I have it,
I don't have that issue, because I'm the one that
I have it,
well, no,
lunch
that's,
first
I have
15
freshmen,
minutes,
sophomores, and I have a
and
senior.
then we go to,
They're always outside with,
like the lunch first 15 minutes, like,
I
I was
don't do
strolling
that.
in, like, oh, I had to wait and get my lunch, which I
And
understand.
I'm like, I get 2 minutes. I'm like, go ahead, you take that 2 minutes over that.
You know,
All
you
the
just get
parties and everything
or do
work.
you think that?
If you come in late,
That's,
give you the advance based on what time you came in.
Can I get like
I don't know, I
go
don't
get my
know
lunch
if it's
first
shooting
card or
emails,
something?
like,
I'm pretty sure they said something like
Eight under
6 people, I'm pretty sure Ms. Beavers
But
and
see, you know what?
make it a way that they get their
I did that
lunch
before.
Yeah.
and
immediate,
these
as soon as
same
possible
people
before
come from
everybody
the
else
same
get to where
box.
they're supposed to be.
How many?
And so I said, no, you know what, they're not notifying me that, hey, you came late or
Yeah,
whatever.
we
I would
There's
say,
never a time
but,
that
I
they've
mean,
even said to me,
even if it
look,
can be done with the
our guys are
the
supposed to be
kids,
before.
hey,
A
this
couple
is
of times, so you know, don't
I
hold
would
it against them.
definitely, hey,
There's no courtesy.
if you can't get out much,
Well, they're getting it, and then we'll
And they
talk
have to
about
get
it.
their lunch
So
right, I
did
mean,
you,
they have to
did
like
you
exchange your
send
stuff
an
in the
email
locker
to
at that
their
time
response,
too.
or did you
And,
like?
like-
See,
talk
this
to them?
has been
Like,
like
in
an
the hallway, like,
ongoing
I
thing,
understand
so
that.
now I don't
So
even
it-
know what they get to.
Yeah,
To the point I did, I.
So are you guys offering solution?
I know you guys don't get too much.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, she
Alright,
would
I just
never,
wanna make sure.
her to fly, and like, she's never had a problem at
But I didn't
all.
want to see,
And
like,
she's
you're right,
saying,
I
like,
could,
I can't
I
do this
did
in
that
time.
one time, but
I'm like,
I have
it's,
one, like, advisor that
like,
brings the person, like,
it's not just that you're,
everybody else can
you're
do
like
it.
4 minutes
And
late.
see with these ones, like I said,
Where,
constantly, and
what do I
it's
do?
been ongoing. Well, I give the demerits, and neither advisor is ever coming to me and say,
Don't worry about it.
and I'm not worried.
But in the case of the advisor, who's walking down the street,
Yeah.
that's take that.
Yeah.
And then,
She
but
just
it's
doesn't move with that much
consistent, it's
urgency
always
anyway.
hurting their
She's
time,
kinda
like
small,
they're
she
always
doesn't
lacking
know
time to do
how to
so.
wait for
Email
the crowd,
advisors
so
and
yeah, I can
PAs
see
if possible
she-
that they come on time because they have expectations that they finish this much and they're constant. Right now, they're losing these votes or whatever consequence they're receiving.
there is,
They just go get lunch.
they do what they have to do, which is be in the classroom at time.
Give them D's, at least they didn't get a senior who had a posse
But
interview, escort them in and
it's
say
not-
that it was their
I don't know,
personal
possible
mentor.
for them to get.
Yep, that's what happened
I mean, it's just a
during,
regular-
during,
So
when
did you give
They-
them?
Where are they
the-
coming from before they come to you?
who the senior was, but I knew this, that wasn't a personal
I was
mentor.
like-
Like, our school don't let, like, random
So,
people just walk
if I
around
was
this
in
building.
my situation,
I knew it was a senior dressed up for posse, I didn't know who it was.
Okay.
I would definitely do, what is your name, you use the nurse.
I don't know, y'all have this, but one, like, I might have is, oh, social.
I mean, cause they have a study hall in the
Really don't
beginning.
believe
Like
you.
I let them like eat their lunch, they have
I
work
was
to
like,
go on, do
that was the case,
it for the
supervisor
first
would've
15
emailed me.
minutes.
Yeah.
And then we transition, I mean,
Yes,
I think
I brought it up
No.
in the big cats meeting, because I was very concerned about it. And so what was really saying is like,
And
well,
LaSalle.
one, you can definitely make sure, like, I'll check in with the D team over at the lunch, in the
Yeah,
to make sure that those
the-
kids are able to get those things on lunch.
Yeah.
Grab what they can grab and then come. And then it's up to you.
In that downward
to adjust the
spiral.
Time, so that it's like, instead of 45 minutes, it's like, it's fine, it's
I don't know, maybe.
no, 40 or advisor, 35 minutes, like you can adjust the time however you want. If you feel like you need to give them
There's a way we
more
can
time.
troubleshoot it, if the
I
advisor
mean, I
just
adjusted a
take
little
lead,
bit.
that there's only so much you can do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the minute that they start on the laptops, it should be serious study group.
And I haven't- I
Not
haven't
study
had-
groups experience.
yeah, I mean, I haven't had a problem with that.
Everything.
Like Taylor.
Maybe, can they get like a card or something where, flash it if anyone shows like. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, or like a sticker on the back of the
Just
board.
let the D team
You should
know.
be getting
Allow them to go to, like, it's the same thing for, classroom with the lockers, like,
Yeah.
one above, like,
taking so long.
is that how it is for, where it's like, before, like,
Speed up, you can read in 45 minutes.
No, I just
All right,
told her, so just give her a break.
Just use this last minute, whoever was the speaker, to just say what your next step is going to be.
Give me some, next step.
So like, what are you gonna do now? How are you gonna follow up?
Do that sticker. Talk to the team.
You can check in with me if you want me to do it. You can check in with me.
Yeah.
Just be on my back. Or you can just go, yeah, you can just talk to her. You don't need me.
Yeah.
Or
Well,
we
the
can
kids are doing good at the interview buckets at least, and the tests I'm creating for them. Yes. Oh, this is good.
Do you guys wanna do one more round, or you think we're gonna? Are you guys good, or do you guys continue one more, like, another person? Good?
I feel like it's all.
They haven't, no, I talked to Chase about it. I'm sure he's trying to coordinate with them.
Yeah, no, but that, I feel that.
Yeah, with it.
Do they wanna go again?
Morgan, sorry, I mean Morgan, yeah, they're still trying to coordinate
So-
times in their lives.
We're gonna pause here. And if you feel like you weren't able to speak, but you do wanna troubleshoot, I'm sure your team, when we're done, you can share it with anyone. Or even if you, later on, you come up with an issue, like small group instructions going a different way, when you email us, just hit Mission6, and you could just email the whole team if you want, and then we could just chime in with solutions. Is that okay? All right, that way, like, you have the entire team who can help troubleshoot. Feel free, that's perfectly fine to do. Just type in Mission6 as the two. Okay, and so the next steps, continue to check in with your collaborative partners for ideas and troubleshooting. Again, you can email the whole team if you want, or just your collaborative, that's okay as well. I'm gonna set up a feedback survey, and that's gonna be due on Tuesday by 6. And then also, so I am going out on surgery, and my surgery date is Friday, next week Friday, so I won't be back till mid-January. So obviously we won't be having meetings, but someone else, I think in the Big Cats, is gonna be monitoring 6th period. So I don't know how often I'll be even on the computer to do emails, but someone else in Big Cats will be able to help if you guys have any issues at all that come up. Whatever the issue is, they'll be able to jump in, all right? And I'll let you guys know how that goes.
Question,
Mm-hmm.
when is the test?
I'm so glad you brought that up. Yes. All right. So perfect. So here's the thing. We're gonna do, so in order for students to get out of 6th period, it's gonna be multifaceted. So let's look at a reading class. They're gonna take another Lexile test. And so we'll look at that number, and then we'll also look at teacher recommendation. So if a teacher, like if their literature teacher thinks that they really need to stay in 6th period, then they'll stay in. But that doesn't affect your bonus. Your bonus is based just on growth. And then for math, they're gonna take a math EPAS. So we'll look at that number. We'll also look at their interim. So the interim that they're taking next week Friday, we're looking at that number as well. And we're looking at teacher recommendations. So for example, Schrader, I think you have like a couple of kids who are at an 18 or a 19 EPAS, and really they shouldn't be in your 6th period class by that number. But the math teachers, when I sent them the names, they were like, oh no, like that must have been a fluke, or right now they're performing so low that they need to be in 6th period. So that's why some of the kids are still in your room. So that's what we're gonna do. Now the actual test, I'm waiting for Mr. Johnson to give me the actual date. He's still trying to finalize that, but it's gonna be, so the interim is next Friday, but our actual testing, big test, is gonna be right when we come back in January.
It's
Yeah.
called the EPAS?
Yeah, So E-Pass is basically all the Explorer Plan and ACT. So for your class, it would be ACT. And
Okay.
9th grade would be Explorer, and 10th grade would be Plan.
So are we gonna use a recycled test? Or is it gonna be something?
It's probably gonna be recycled. It's not gonna be like, I'm waiting for no rule to create it and give it to us. I think it's a test that we're gonna recycle and use to determine whether or not they should be.
So to tell the kids, say, okay, your Q2 interim score, and then you will have another test when you come back from break, and both of those plus teacher recommendation will be looked at to
Yes.
see if you need to
The
stay.
teacher
Yes.
recommendation is new. The kids don't freak out about that. Cause I've never told them about teacher
Yeah.
recommendation.
Right.
Okay.
That
How-
was
how-
explained to us.
Yeah, no, that just, sort of came up, a lot of things sort of just come up.
And then also comparing like, when you, me just thinking like standards and see like their standards they have to meet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, I know my kids will be successful at it, but I'm a bit doubtful because we haven't hit those standards that they will be tested on, like Q2. I know what Q2 is, I know it's SIN 501 and IOD 403, but we haven't been doing it, and that's what
For 6th period, you talking about?
yeah, like I've been aligning it to what they're doing in algebra, so I
Yeah.
talked to Powell, Kalinda, and Crawford, so I'm like, hey, this week we're on range and domain, and we're doing functions, but that's not necessarily what they'll be hitting, and who's to say that they're not competent in those areas if
Yeah.
they were never taught those standards, or those standards were pushed on them in Khan Academy.
Yeah, so perfect question, and I think it's come up before, well, as a 6th grade teacher, what's my responsibility? Which standards are my responsibility? And so that's why when we did that analysis, I was telling you guys to just stick with the 300 and 400 level standards, all the higher standards. Their regular teacher is responsible for making sure that they hit those. So the only thing I would want you to worry about are just the lower level stuff that they should have learned last year, or they should have learned first quarter. That's what you focus on in the 6th period. It's for the remedial skills. The higher level stuff is being dealt with during the day. That's up to their regular daytime math teacher.
I think it should be a team effort, though. I don't want my kids to leave 6th period and not be successful in 3rd period.
But if they don't have those remedial skills, then they're for sure not going to be successful in 3rd period.
But then
So-
how will they be, they still will always be left behind.
No, so the purpose of 6th period is to bridge that gap. So they will get better in their 3rd period class if we're sort of bringing them up by remediating those remedial skills. If you're doing the same thing as 3rd period, then their remedial skills are going to fall out, right? No one's hitting them. Their 3rd period teacher is not going to spend as much time on remedial skills. They're going to keep going. But you, as a 6th period teacher, you're trying to get all those remedial skills that their 3rd period teacher does not have time for. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't both do. So in a 9th grade class, you can't both be doing 9th grade curriculum. Let's just say their regular teacher is going to be doing that. What you have to do is the remedial skills, because that 3rd period teacher won't have time to slow down the entire curriculum for the bottom tier. So that's why we have 6th period. You guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, one thing because I found that a lot of the kids were like, okay, this is not what I'm doing in math. Why can't this time be helpful for me to be better? I don't understand what I'm doing in my actual math class. And so I was like, okay, I hear what you're saying, and then went and looked at their breakdown of their interim and saw BOA 301, they didn't get it. And I'm like, okay, and then showed them this and was like, this is stuff you learned in middle school or elementary or something. So you need to be able to be strong in this to get you out, so to speak, but also this is stuff, and I'm like, I know you know how to do this, you probably just haven't done it in a while, giving them a little bit of encouragement, and then gave them these questions, specifically BOA 301, and was like, if you can, let's see how you've improved in this. Let's see if you can handle these now. And most of them still couldn't handle it. And so they were able to be like, okay, I get why I'm working on the remedial skills, because I've been working on the remedial skills and I'm still struggling on the remedial skills. And then, I mean, I don't know if that was like, okay, now they're okay with not studying math. They still want to do their math homework because that's what they got to do at night, and you know, and they feel like it's a waste of time. But that was, I think, a little bit of it brought some clarity to them. And it's like, you still need work on these remedial skills.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say to them. What you're doing in sixth period is just remediation. That's it. Like, it's not homework help, it's remediation. Homework, the reason why a lot of these sixth period classes were moved to lunchtime was because those kids needed to stay after school, specifically those kids need to stay after school in office hours for homework help. So it's being addressed elsewhere. But the point of sixth period isn't for help directly with their current class, it's for remediation, and that's all we do. Alright? Alright, awesome. And if you guys have more questions for me, just let me know. Yeah.
So quick for reading, they're just doing Lexile in January and teacher recommendations to get out of sixth period.
Yeah.
Will it be a sixth period meeting to tell the kids the requirements to exit?
I'm thinking of coming around with the classes.
I think it should be a whole.
Like, so Monday maybe, because Monday would be the last day that I'm here. So maybe I can do it Monday. Is that okay?
Are you gonna come down?
So you,
Don't forget the lunch ones.
oh yeah, so the lunch ones I'd have to go to.
And what, you would announce it to them?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not gonna be in there for 45 minutes. So I
They're gonna
should.
have a lot of questions, so I would suggest that it was a whole group situation, because I know kids will say,
Yeah.
well, I got this question, and you want me to spend 7 minutes in each class,
Yeah,
and then they're gonna ask us questions, and we don't have the answers.
sure.
We could at least do ours, all the lunch ones together and then all the after ones together.
Yeah.
What room?
17?
Let me work it out. Let me think about it as soon as we get out of here, and then I'll send you guys an email over the weekend in terms of like what it will look like. Is that okay? All right, cool. All right, so just a quick wrap up. Just remember, we're going to send out the feedback survey. Our norms were to be on time, be respectful, be prepared, be low tech. Thank you guys for all of that. I know some of you guys who were late. I know, like you said, you were pulled into an emergency meeting. Hopefully the other guys who, I'm sure you were probably taking care of something else, or you could let me know afterwards what was up, and I'll let you know what you missed. But at least we're here, and I'm glad everyone was able to talk about small group instruction. Our objectives today were to describe the strategies that you use for small group instruction, and also adopt and critique strategies used by your collaborator. Remember, again, you can always email the entire team if you need help, all right, or if you need strategies. All right? All right, thank you guys, and have an awesome, awesome weekend. And I'll check in with you for a minute. Yes, I never sent you.
I know, sorry. I got it the other day, and I was like,
Yeah, so but if achieve is worth like, yeah, most of them. So it's like, I do a lot of really awesome plans that I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
She just got a meeting by teacher.
yeah,
no, it's fine. Oh, okay. No, it's fine. No, it's okay.
I mean, it's like, no, what we did was we watched Anderson's clip of her small group instruction. And then we saw, I think we gave feedback. Yeah, that's all. Okay. Third one is okay.
Email all the information, possible questions that they may ask, and
Right.
be able to answer.
Yeah. And then also, like, if kids ask questions, then you just like collect all the questions, and email with all the questions, and I'll just formulate all the answers and shoot it back to you guys. I can do that too. Yeah, thank